first weekend in December and I am feeling Christmassy. Here's episode 6 of Sustainable Squad, your tips and brands to keep an eye out for. We're cooking shepherd's pie for this week's dinner challenge. 3 ways to make it a little bit more sustainable. The brand I think are bossing it are M24 Bags. The tip of the week is how to make festive chocolates, gluten-free and vegan. Hell yes! Love Local this week is Ethicul, a reward system for shopping ethically online. Tell you more about that. Your questions answered is, what do you do about Christmas jumpers? How can you be more sustainable? And finally, oh, fancy that, is Just Wrong puff pastry, something you may not be aware of. Shepherd's pie or cottage pie, depending on what you put in it. How do you make one of the ultimate winter comfort foods a little bit more sustainable? Well, here are 3 different ways you can do that. Firstly, swap the meat for something plant-based. You could go for corn mince, you could go for other types of sort of soy or mushroom-based fake mince, or you could just replace it with more vegetables or lentils. Nice and hearty. As long as you've got the seasoning right, it is mwah. Secondly, make sure, that old classic, you buy your vegetables loose, where possible, as much as possible. So potatoes loose, carrots loose, onions loose, you can defo buy them loose. Thirdly, make an extra big amount of pie. Everybody loves lots of pie. Then portion it off and put it in the freezer, because then on lazy days, when you're tempted to get a takeaway or buy a ready meal, you've got your own nutritious ready meal at home with no more packaging. There you go. Swap the meat, buy your veg loose, make extra portions so you have more in the freezer. The brand I think are bossing it this week are called M24 Bags. These guys make bags out of lorry tarpaulin. So you know those lorries you see on the motorway with these massive curtains made out of this tarpaulin material? Well, after so many years, they don't use them anymore, or maybe the company they drive for have changed their branding. So these huge sheets get chucked in landfill. Now Matt, who is the founder of M24, through a happy coincidence trying to fashion a hardy bag for his ski trip, discovered that tarpaulin was the perfect material and has made this business out of creating bags that are cool. Like, you've got the roll top bag, you've got your satchels, there's a few different designs. Every single bag is different because it's created from a different part of the tarpaulin. So he rescues them, he gives them a good old industrial clean, and they use every scrap of the material in these bags. There's a great podcast with Matt under my name, Sustainable Squad. You can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and you can hear all about how he started his business. It's brilliant. So M24, you are bossing it. Chocolate plays a very important role at Christmas time, but sadly, these huge amounts of boxes of chocolates all come individually wrapped in little plastic wrappers. One thing you might not know is Quality Streets, all of their wrappers are recyclable or even compostable. So this is, setting an example. They don't even advertise it. Anywho, another thing you could do is have a go at making things from scratch. It's actually a really lovely gesture as well as pretty fun to do. So this is a recipe that I've found that's gluten-free and it's vegan. All right, squaddies, welcome to quite possibly the easiest recipe ever. This is your mince pie chocolate truffle recipe. Ooh, damn straight. We're going to start off with 6 dates, majuli dates. Then we're going to have a whole cup of sultanas or raisins. Oh shit. Add a sprinkling of aromatic spices. We've got half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of mixed spices, mixed ground spices. A splash of vanilla essence, ideally extract, but I'm a cheapskate. And a splash of rum. Ooh! Whiz it all together. Take a spoonful of the mixture, put it on a tray. Keep doing that till the mixture's gone. Whack it in the fridge to get a bit more solid. Then get yourself some dark chocolate and melt it on a pan. Roll these little buttes in the melted chocolate. Add a cheeky goji berry for a little Christmassy top. And voila, there you have it. They ain't pretty, but they sure taste good. Mince pie, chocolate truffles, gluten-free and vegan. This week's Love Local is a company called Ethicul, founded by 3 lovely lads who met at uni, started a project, got great feedback, turned the project into a real life business. Hats off, that's amazing. They did it this year as well. So, what is Ethicul? It is a shopping reward point system. So they have a website that features local businesses to our area, and these businesses have ticked certain boxes around how they look after their people and how they make sure that their impact on the planet is absolutely minimal. So what happens is when you buy from these shops via Ethicul, you collect reward points which you can spend on goodies. It's such a simple business system, and it's really helping bring awareness to all these great companies and businesses that we have local to us. And at the moment, if you sign up and you're in the local Brighton and Hove, slightly outside Brighton and Hove bubble, they will plant a tree for every person that signs up. They're on a mission to plant 1,250 trees because it will reduce our CO2 from the atmosphere by so much over 20 years. I'm crap with maths, but it's really good. So Ethicul, Love Local. They've also been interviewed by myself in a podcast yet to be released, but it will be very soon. Christmas jumpers. I'm dreaming of a green Christmas. That's right, Betty Boo. So what do? I mean, every single shop are selling brand new Christmas jumpers. I mean, how many Christmas jumpers does a person really need? I've recently put a post up about Christmas on repeat. We all watch the same films, listen to the same music, eat the same types of food, drink the same types of drink. I love a Baileys at Christmas. But why don't we just wear the same clothes as well? Why do we have to buy something new every Christmas? This jumper is secondhand from Beyond Retro. They have so many jumpers. And if secondhand freaks you out, that's silly. Just get your jumper, bung it straight in the wash, and it is as good as new. I love it. It's cheaper. It's much easier on the environment as well. So look for secondhand and look for charity shop Christmas jumpers. And finally, oh, fancy that! Just Roll. They make pastry. That means our life is much easier when it comes to making stuff in the kitchen. Well, did you know that their puff pastry, which you would have thought would be absolutely packed with butter, is in fact vegan? And this week I did the easiest bit of Christmas baking ever. I simply bought a pack of the puff pastry. I got a jar of mincemeat. Despite the name, there is no meat in this. It is also completely vegan. Spread it on the pastry, rolled it up, chopped it up, put it on a tray, whacked it in the oven, done. Mince pie swirls, thanks very much, completely vegan, all right. That's it this week. Appreciate it's not the same this Christmas, but I hope in whatever way you can, you're embracing it and connecting with people, whether it's on Zoom, outside having walks, or on the phone. Take care of yourself and see you next week. Mwah!